Never stop reading the Bible. Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're jumping into Chronicles chapters 25 through 28.
That's right. We're looking at 4 kings of Judah back to back. Amaziah, Uzziah, sometimes called Azariah.
Right, Azariah, and then Jotham and Ahaz.
And it's fascinating to see their paths, how different they were.
Totally contrasting, and the scriptures are pretty direct about the consequences, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. It lays it all out.
Okay, so let's kick things off with Amaziah, chapter 25.
Yeah, Amaziah. He starts off, well, seemingly on the right track.
He does. Initially, it says he's following God's law, gets that big victory over Edom, verses 1 to 13. It's looking good.
Mm-hmm. Obedience, success.
Okay.
Seems like a solid start.
But then there's this pivot, a really sharp one.
Uh-huh. Verse 14 hits, and suddenly he's worshiping Edomite idols, the very gods of the people he just defeated.
It's baffling, isn't it? You wonder what was going on there internally, but the text links it directly to, well, divine judgment.
It does. Verses 14 to 16 make that connection pretty clear. Success seems to have maybe blinded him, or maybe it was something else, some pressure we don't see.
And that judgment, it wasn't just a warning.
No.
Yeah.
It leads to real consequences. He gets into this conflict with Israel.
He provokes it, right? Gets a bit puffed up after the Edomite victory, maybe.
Seems like it. And it does not go well for him. At all.
Leads to war, defeat, and ultimately his own people conspire against him. Assassination.
Yeah, verses 17 through 28. It's quite the trajectory. From victory to, well, a violent end. A real fall from grace.
Okay, so after Amaziah's dramatic exit, who takes the throne?
That brings us to Uzziah in chapter 26. He comes in right after Amaziah's assassination.
And Uzziah's reign, at least initially, is really successful.
Very much so. The text emphasizes that he sought God, especially while the prophet Zechariah was advising him.
That seems key, doesn't it? Having that godly counsel.
Absolutely. Verses 5 through 10 detail all these victories: Philistines, Arabians, Meunites. His fame spreads.
You get a sense of stability, strength.
Definitely. And infrastructure, too.
Yeah.
Verses 11 to 15 talk about his military buildup, fortifications, towers. Judah seems pretty strong under him.
But, there's always a but sometimes, isn't there?
Often, yes. And for Uzziah, it's pride. Verse 16, after all that success, he gets arrogant.
And it's a very specific act of pride, too. He goes into the temple.
Right, into the temple to burn incense himself. Something only the priests were allowed to do. A major transgression.
It's like success corrupted him, maybe, even after seeking God earlier.
It seems that way. And the consequence is immediate and severe.
Leprosy, right there in the temple.
For the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Verses 16 to 23, he ends up isolated, living in a separate house.
Wow. So this powerful, successful king ends his days in isolation. His son Jotham has to take over the royal duties.
It's a really sobering picture, isn't it? A stark warning about pride, no matter how successful you've been.
Okay, so Jotham steps up. What's his story? That's chapter 27.
Jotham's account is, well, much shorter, and notably more positive than his father's ending or Amaziah's reign.
Verses 1 and 2 give a good summary, right? He did what was right in the Lord's eyes.
Yes. Importantly, it notes he learned from his father's mistake. He didn't enter the temple inappropriately.
So a period of maybe steadiness?
Exactly. Less drama, perhaps, but consistent faithfulness. He undertakes building projects, strengthens Judah. Verses 3 through 6 mention his growing power.
Kind of consolidating things after the ups and downs.
Seems like it. It's a relatively brief, positive account before his death is mentioned, verses 7 to 9. A necessary breather, maybe?
But the calm doesn't last, does it? Chapter 28 brings us to Ahaz.
And Ahaz is, well, a completely different story. A sharp downturn.
The text doesn't mince words. Verses 1 to 4 paint him as practicing extreme idolatry. A massive departure.
Huge. Making idols, sacrificing children. It's grim.
And the consequences follow quickly, verses 5 to 7.
Yep. Defeat. Delivered into the hands of Aram and Israel. Significant losses. Many people taken captive.
But then there's that interesting moment with the prophet Oded.
Right, verses 8 to 15. Oded confronts the victorious Israelites and convinces them to release the Judean captives. A moment of unexpected mercy amidst the conflict.
You'd think Ahaz might learn from all this disaster, but no.
Apparently not. Instead of turning back to God, he doubles down on bad decisions. He asks the king of Assyria for help.
Which the text portrays as foolish reliance, right? Verses 16 to 21.
Exactly. It doesn't actually solve his problems. Assyria causes more trouble for him in the long run.
And even distress doesn't bring him around. Verses 22 to 25 are shocking.
They really are. It says because he was in distress, he became more unfaithful. sacrificing to the gods of Damascus, the ones who defeated him.
And shutting up the temple, destroying its articles. It's like a complete rejection.
Provoking divine wrath, as the text says. It's a very bleak picture leading up to his death in verses 26 and 27.
Leaving the throne to Hezekiah, which sets up another major shift, of course.
Indeed. But these four kings, wow. Such different paths, such clear consequences outlined.
It really lays bare how leadership choices, faithfulness or unfaithfulness, had such a profound, tangible impact described right here in Scripture. Makes you think
Yes, really does.
from the center studio.